Doing Time with Deputy Mike.
Hi, welcome back to Doing Time with Deputy Mike. I'm your host, Mike, and I have a super guest today, I must say, one that I'm truly thrilled about. I don't think I could find a cooler guest today. So, without further ado, we're going to move on into roll call, and you'll get to meet Carrie. We're going to be talking about Hillview Manor and Scare Manor, correct?
Yes.
All right, so let's go into roll call. Grab your feet and take a seat. It's roll call time.
Hi, I'm Ryan Ague, and I'm in Web Design and Application Development.
Hi, I'm Logan Bowles. I'm in Veterinary Science.
And I'm Carrie with Haunted Hillview Manor.
Welcome, everybody. Glad everyone's here today. So let's go on and move into interrogation time.
Interrogation time.
So through the year, last year and everything, of course, like 100,000 probably times, I've talked about Hillview Manor on my show and how great it is. So today I have the owner, and we're going to be discussing Hillview Manor. And right now they got a cool haunted house, and we're going to be discussing that. So go ahead and start telling us about your place.
Thanks for having me,
Oh,
Mike.
thank you for coming.
Deputy Mike, excuse me.
You can just call me.
I'm
Mike.
just Hillview Carrie.
Hillview Carrie.
We're very anonymous here. Thanks for having me.
Oh,
This is my first podcast.
woo. Where's the applaud? Where's my applaud? Come on, people. Oh, they're sleeping on me in there. Okay, so we got pictures too, correct? I believe we got pictures. So let's talk about there we go.
Oh, yeah.
So you can tell us all about these pictures.
So this is out back behind Haunted Hillview Manor, which is a former nursing home, poor farm. It's almost 100 years. Next year, we're 100 years old. And out back, we have something called Scare Manor. Dun, dun, dun. And, yeah, we need all kinds of sound effects here.
Yeah, you know what? We do have sound effects like my thunder and lightning and stuff. I don't know. They're sleeping in there.
When I was a school teacher, I had a little studio going back in the dark ages. We didn't have all this fun stuff. We had sound effects. I heard that. There it goes.
We do have sound effects, but I think my crew is sleeping.
That's okay. That's okay. They can add things all the time, like screams, all this stuff. Anyways, we added a scare house or a haunted house 4 years ago. And my late brother wanted to do one. And I was approached by a couple that was obsessed by haunted houses. And I said, well, we'll try that. And we've been doing it for 4 years. This is our 4th year. And it adds to the element of Hillview Manor. It lends well with it, let's put it that way. So people come and if they want, they buy a VIP ticket and they can tour Hillview, and they can go through Scare Manor, which is out behind our building. It's not in the building. We felt that we wanted to keep everything the way it should be in the building.
Right.
We decorate a little outside and in the office, but we really want everybody who comes to ghost hunt to ghost hunt. And out back is the haunted house. So we have 2 outbuildings behind Hillview. One of them is used for Scare Manor, and then a very, very large field that I call the Field of Fears. So we add both. So we have an outside component and an inside component.
Nice.
And we're here to scare the bejeebies out of you.
So
Not me though.
Not you. That's right. You'll just find her in the office taking care of business.
Oh, I do have a role, but it's not out back.
Not out back. How much property do you guys sit on? There's quite a bit, isn't there?
13 acres.
13 acres.
On a hill.
On a hill.
Hillview
Manor.
Yep.
Full of fear.
Full of fear. Well, all the television shows tell us that.
Yes.
And a few people like yourselves, I think.
Yes. Well, yeah. You know what? I could tell you, we caught. We believe it's the Mary in the center room. Like when
Second floor.
the second
first
floor,
one,
second floor. Like when
Mariella,
yes, we believe it was her. She was down in that hallway.
the one without the eyes.
No, that I just call her No Eyes Mary.
Oh, no
But-
eyes, Mary.
But we got her too.
Okay.
But
I like Mariella. But I
that's the
don't
one they
post
call
her.
in the white lady in white, right?
Yeah, I guess they do sometimes.
She looked like she has kind of curly permed hair. It looked like she had a night robe on.
Well, if it's Mariella, who you're saying you didn't catch.
We
Mary-
have her voice.
Okay, got it. Mary Virginia's on the first floor, and she loves Christmas. And then there's a lady who fell down the steps.
Steps.
That's...
Maybe it was her. Isn't
Okay.
there 3 Marys? For some reason, I want to say there was 3 Marys.
Oh,
there was a
boy.
lot of
I better
Marys.
start thinking now. I better start thinking.
But No Eye Marys.
No, I'm Mary.
What's her last name?
Mariella.
Yeah.
These are true people, by the way.
Yes, they are. Yes, they
Yeah.
are. When I went to her room originally, and we had all of our batteries charged up. I personally charged up everything, and I went in. I kind of introduced myself, and I sat in that little chair, like next to the door,
Mm-hmm.
and I literally watched my battery go. Blah, blah, blah. I have never seen this happen in my life.
Everybody.
It literally drained within a second. It was gone. I lost it. It was like gone.
So you need to have a conversation with the building before you walk in, which is, please leave my stuff alone.
Yes.
Now, for me, I say, leave my stuff alone, leave me alone, follow everyone else, entertain everyone else, leave me alone.
Right.
But I don't always get that.
Now, you guys, I think, are we working on a commercial for you, or
I don't know. I have a commercial.
you tell us about your?
What's going on?
So we have a commercial running
What's going on?
Our newest patient at Haunted Hill.
on YouTube and all the Hulu and all that.
All that good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do that stuff too.
Yes. So, all right. Let me ask both of you because you're so quiet. So, all right. First off, before we get to the fun haunted house, do you guys believe in ghosts, or
Oh yeah.
do you?
I do too, yeah.
Have you guys had experiences?
Maybe not.
Maybe not. If you end up
I bribed them before we start. No.
Well, you have to be what?
Crazy?
No. The age group, you have to be 21 if you're below 18, correct?
If you're under 18, we
18,
would like you
yes,
to bring
yes.
a parent or guardian. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you ever have the opportunity to go actually ghost hunting, I would truly 110% recommend Hillview Manor.
Well, there is an opportunity for these young folks to come out, and we do have on the 22nd of October a teen hunt.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that one's a cool one. That's starting to fill up. So it's just teenagers, and our teenage employees, they're young teenagers are running the ghost hunt.
So that's what I was going to ask you next, because I know there's always a lot of them always need more actors for the.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yes. So
Yes.
there
Matter
again.
of fact, one of your secretary's son is coming up.
Yes,
is participating in.
He's having a great time, I heard.
He debuted on Saturday night and he killed it. Maybe not literally, but he did great.
So okay, let's like get some. Let's hear what you have to say. I mean, You guys are so quiet on me.
I didn't want to interrupt. I didn't want to interrupt anyone.
Yeah, it was a good conversation. Personally, I've had an experience with a ghost. Well, I think it is. A lot of stuff, like my house was built in like the 90s. And so you just hear some random noises at night from nowhere. And then you go to investigate. It's nothing. Nothing has moved. Absolutely nothing. And we've had somebody out there to look at it, see if it maybe was just rusty pipes or something like that. And they said they couldn't find anything. So I wonder if it is actually haunted or they just missed something, you know.
Well, well, you don't know what was on the land. The land, I mean, like her place. I mean, it's been around for a long, long time. A lot of people have come through it.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of.
Well, for instance,
what am I
in
looking-
the area of where Hillview is, we had Indians.
Yeah.
And we know that some people on the property in the newer section, we call Not One North, sometimes hear tom-tom drums, or they smell barnyard animals that were on the poor farm because they did farming there. So sometimes there's residue of stuff that was before your home there.
That's the word I was looking for, like residue, leftover. I mean, because we're made of electricity, and I think we imprint. I mean, but how about you?
So, me as a person, I'm very paranoid about everything. So it's either me overreacting or there's a ghost. Like, I have tarot cards. I remember I did a reading on you the one day in lab. It basically said your life sucked. I don't.
It did. I was like, well, I didn't think it was that bad, but
On air. Wow.
according to his cards, yeah, my life
Yeah.
was terrible.
Should have brought them.
Yeah. Well, you guys like haunted houses? Do you? I mean,
I just went to Fear Forest over the weekend, which was an experience. The Michael Myers actor was very disappointed in me when I tried to play rock, paper, scissors with him. He just stood there and looked at me and shook his head. The one scare actor we made just give up. He tried, and then we were just making fun of him because, I don't know, it was like a coping mechanism with fear. So he kind of just gave up and walked away, and then we just moved on.
well, what's cool about her place is, like, I don't know if we said this on the air or not, but it's haunted for real. So not only are you going through a fun haunted house, with characters, but who else you're going to bump into?
Well, that's interesting you say that, because while we were building this thing this summer, a couple weeks ago, our manager actor in the field came up to us after he was done in the field, and he said to another actor, "Were you just talking to me in the field? Did you just kind of jump scare me in the field and start whispering in my ear?" And we were like, "No." And he's like, he went white as a sheet. And he's like, "Something was following me and talking to me. And it wasn't any of you, and there were only 3 or 4 of us." We're like, "Nope." Last year, while the gang was scaring out in the field, something was running around the field. And it wasn't a critter. It was something bigger.
Something big.
And
So
that
they could hear it.
oh yeah, they were
Like
freaking
a
out.
boom.
And then 2 years ago, in our scare house part, the building part, not the field, our managers were taking pictures and caught a face in Scare Manor. Disembodied face in Scare Manor. Now, we tried to debunk it. Everybody was on it. Now, I'm the videographer person, so I do something called evidence view, and we put together this video like, what do you think? Do you see a face? Blah, 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 all this stuff. And golly, people really reacted to it. And because I don't ghost hunt, I'm creeped out everywhere I go. And I'm telling you, when I walk in that building,
You can feel it.
you can feel it.
There's a feeling to
Get
it.
There's-
instantly off and like cold.
Sometimes not.
I wouldn't say it's a bad
No,
feeling.
not
It's
at
not
all.
nothing like that.
No.
It's hard to explain, but when you walk in, it just has its feeling, and you know that you're kind of not alone. I mean,
Right.
it has a vibe. In fact, yeah, when we briefly was talking about No Eyes Mary, well, we actually had a voice and she what'd she say? Oh, she said, I can't say it over the mic because it's school, but she said crap, but not crap. In fact, it was kind of funny because we had to bleep it. It almost sounded like she had a southern twang in a way her voice was. But when I brought in Mr. Duran here, and he was able to try to clean up something, he had called me over. He goes, "I got to show you this." He goes, "I'm starting to get a little freaked out." I'm like, "What?" So, he was showing me the audio, like up here is our voice, what we hear and everything. Well, hers was way down on this spectrum, like way below us or wherever it is. And he's like, "Well, this is where she talked." He goes, "But see this long block?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "That's a sentence." He goes, "She was actually talking where you couldn't really hear, like it didn't come out, but she was talking, and then you heard that crap."
And was this through a spirit box?
That was through my
Okay,
spirit
got it.
box.
See, I know some of these things. I don't use them.
Yes.
But I like Mariella. And I like a couple other characters, Eli especially. But I ghost hunt once a year if you're lucky. And I don't even call it that. But I got dragged out last November. Actually, I said I would go. It was right after our staff appreciation dinner. Volunteers, we have a big dinner and let them ghost hunt the rest of the night. They get the whole building.
Nice.
It is nice because I so appreciate them. They really do a great job.
That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, and our employees work really hard, and they're so nice, and they want to help people. They know what they're looking for. They're not just trumping things up, So I said, "Okay, we're going ghost hunting." And they're like, "You're going ghost hunting?" I go, "Yeah, let's go see Eli." So we're down there, and everything was lighting up, all the machinery, whatever they were bringing. And I was like, "Is this good?" And they're like, yeah, it's good. So I go back in the office, and I said, "Do I get my wings yet? Am I a ghost hunter yet?" And they're like, "No, you're not a ghost hunter." I go, "Okay, let's go to see Mariella." So I said, "Okay, let's go up there." And it was all women with me at the time. And I'm like, "Girl ghost hunters, let's go." Sorry, I banged your thingy.
It's okay.
And so we go up there, and we got a K2 meter on the bed and a K2 meter in my hand. I don't know what I'm looking at. And spirit box and all this stuff, dowsing rods, everything's in there.
Oh, you had the works.
We had the works.
Yeah.
Everybody had stuff, and it was so cold. And I said, "Boy, Mary, it's really cold in here," and everything's lighting up. Oh, man. And one of my girls had a blanket all around her. And I said, "Well, you need a heated blanket." And everything lit up. And I said, "Mary, do we need to get a heated blanket in here?" "Yes." "Out of all these spirit boxes?" "Yes." And it kept answering. "And should we get one and rent it out for people?" "Yes." "Do you need a heated blanket?" "No." "Do you want one in your room for people?" "Absolutely," or "yes," or whatever. So when we were conversing like for a good 20 minutes, everything's lighting up. I got one of my girls videotaping it, and the whole time I'm like, "Is this any good? Are we getting anything?" And they're like, "Yes, Carrie, yes, this is good." So we have evidence of Mariella talking with the girl ghost hunters.
That's cool.
And they do this all the time, but I don't, because I don't ghost hunt, I don't see all this. I get people emailing us and telling me all this wonderful stuff, and then there's me who's running out the door saying, not me. So it is kind of interesting because so many people gather so much evidence at Hillview.
Yes.
And it ramps up for big fun events, especially like when we've got this kids trick or treat coming up in a teen hunt. And the kids trick or treat, Hillview loves kids. Because way back in the day, kids would come and perform for the residents at Hillview.
Yep.
They loved it.
Well, they're people. I mean,
yeah.
they're people.
Yeah, in this event, we take all our proceeds and we give it to the Shenango Township Police Dog.
Nice.
And
Nice.
they come up and they do, they come up. Our police officer isn't a ghost hunter, so he's always a little bit leery coming in with the dog. And the dog, I swear, senses things.
Well, the dog, yes, they will.
Mhm.
They'll tell you before anything that there's something there.
My dog was my protector every time I came up to I put him down a year ago, but when I had him in Hillview. He knew sections he didn't want to go into, and they were the same places I didn't like. Now, I don't think he was reacting to me. I think something
He was-
really
yeah.
was
Yeah.
moving around or doing something.
Well, sometimes I don't. I just like jumping into things. That's what I do. But they were telling me about the one. I think it's the morgue that's up there on,
Yeah.
and it likes to push people away.
Yeah,
So
the morgue is interesting on
yeah.
that third floor.
yes,
It's on some people's tours and not on others. I have a childhood friend who is a medical medium, and nobody knew about that room until she went into it and said, "What's with this room?" And she goes, "It's heavy. It is
hard.
heavy. If you go in there, more young people get headaches, flutteries, headaches immediately. I do a high school psych class that comes in. I'm a former teacher, so I like when students come in. And they do a psych class, and I can't tell you how many kids are open. Young people are open, excuse me, not kids, but young people.
Yeah.
And they get affected by that building. And that morgue is freaky. It's the only room at Hillview. It looks like every other room, but it has marble on the walls. I was like, what's with the marble? And she kept getting morgue. And she kept saying, it's like up to here heavy, like body heavy. And she said something about they would take people there that weren't quite gone. Kind of like,
So like an in-between state.
yeah, isn't that a little bit unnerving?
Yeah. So they were passing, but they weren't passed yet.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Just
Odd.
That,
roll you right into this room.
that freaks me out. That just kind of,
Yeah.
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 you can do the sound effects now.
Well, they told me about how it likes to push people away, and I'm the guy that says, "Well, let me check this out."
Right.
And as we got closer to that room, and I mean, that's no lie, my hair stood straight up.
Hmm.
And the closer I got to that room, the more, I don't know, it was like pushing back. It was like, it's hard to explain. But then I did get in almost into the door, and it was like someone viced my head.
Pressure.
I had an
That's what
instant
it
head. It
is.
felt like someone was crushing down my
Yep.
skull. I was like, I started feeling sick.
So what I do is I don't tell people about the room. So I'll go to the third floor.
Mhm.
Every once in a while you might get the boss doing the tour, which is rare, but I sneak around sometimes and they think I don't know anything. I know a couple of things, just a couple. So I go in the room and I'm like, so what do you think of this room? And everybody's like looking around, and I'm like, how do you feel? I don't feel very good. I got a tummy ache. I got fluttery. Oh my gosh, I got a headache. I go, walk right outside the door. And I said, how do you feel out there? Oh, way better. Well, come on back in. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this. And then you tell them later and they're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And that happens specifically in that room. I know there's other places, but not like that.
No, but
Not like that.
and I'm glad you said that, because one of my other buddies, who's also a deputy, we ghost hunt together. Him and I were on the second floor. Was it the second floor? Is that where the creeper is, going towards the end?
Yeah, they call it something
yeah,
like that.
But
And
we were in Mary's hall and all that, and he looked at me and he's like, dude, he goes, I keep feeling like someone's crushing on my skull. He goes, I get this headache. I start feeling sick. He goes, but then it goes away. I was like, it's happening to me too.
Mhm.
He goes, like just a minute ago, I swear to God, like somebody was.
And you guys like that feeling? To me, I don't want to be bugged. I'm like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Entertain everybody else.
It was, you know what? Well, that was my true first like ghost hunting.
Oh, okay.
Was there, and that was my first experience such as that. So that was interesting. But also about your face, we brought, my son talked me into buying a FLIR camera.
I don't know what that is.
That's the thermal.
Oh, okay. Now I'm seeing a lot of that kind of stuff lately.
And
Okay.
not only did he catch, it was like, I think around that restaurant area, or like the cafeteria, I should say. I'm sorry, not
That's
restaurant,
okay.
but
Yeah.
he caught a figure standing in the doorway down there.
Ooh.
And then he caught a face, just a head, free floating head. And I mean, you look at it and there's no ands, ifs, or buts.
Well, then you go on to our YouTube channel and see that face and scare manner, because somebody, I don't know if there's a photo out there of Eli or something. They think it's Eli. And Eli is known to be all over. He was a janitor, kind of handyman.
Yes, because I was
I
down
love
in his
Eli.
room.
The boiler,
The boiler, and
not the basement one.
I was
boiler.
down. Oh, the
That's
boiler.
George.
George. I was in George's.
George is good too.
Boiler room kind of bothered me. I was trying to go
The
in,
old
but-
boiler room.
Yes, and
Yeah.
you were allowing us to go all the way in now.
Finally, yes.
And I was by myself, and there was just something about was working towards those steps, but again, it was something was pushing back, and
yeah.
I was like, I think I'm moving on.
Eli's a little lighter energy, but there is something down there in one area that I'm not crazy about.
I was fine up in the bigger area.
Mm-hmm.
It was going down, and there was something. I mean, it wasn't like up here. I was perfectly fine, but every time I went through the steps, it was like something was bothering me and made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, go the other way.
Yeah. So
Go the other
I did go the other way. I'll admit it. I did. It's like, you know what? There's times to walk away. But you guys have any questions?
Yeah. How many apparitions did you guys like discover so far? And do you think there's more there?
So apparitions, we get a lot because people get evidence. Your phone is your best evidence tool. But as far as entities that we talk about, there are at least 13 that we talk about on the tour, and they're historical figures of Hillview. Many of them spent most of their lives at Hillview, if you can believe that. Jimmy Snaps on the 3rd floor.
Jimmy's, yes, that was.
Jimmy's great. He spent his whole life. So think about this. Hillview was, many people don't know what a poor farm is. It's a homeless shelter 24/7, 365 days a year. Except to live there, you had to work there. Okay, so it was a work farm. Many children were at Hillview, and once they became of age, a little younger than the two of you guys, they were adopted by local families to work on their at their homes. So it was child labor. No, seriously.
That's how
Oh yeah,
it was. That's
it
how
was
back
100
then.
years ago.
Yep.
Right.
You were working.
Yeah. That's
And-
why they adopted you. Yeah,
Exactly.
you were-
They didn't want a young child. They
No.
wanted a child that could work, So with Jimmy Snaps and with Mary Virginia, who spent their whole lives, Mary Virginia came to Hillview, I think, when she was 2 or 3 years old, maybe even younger, and died at 102, I
Wow.
believe.
That's
They spent their whole life. Now, Mary Virginia had cerebral palsy. Jimmy, I have to wonder. I don't know enough about Jimmy, but Jimmy might have had some learning disabilities, mental disabilities. Not quite sure. He's quite the character at Hillview, and we always say he ran the joint. He certainly was running all over the place and having a good old time. But a lot of people get all kinds of things there, and it's interesting because we have so many former employees that come to visit Hillview, and what they do is they tell us about their favorite inmate. For many years they called them inmates, but really patients. And they tell us about their favorite patient. We have so many people that contact us on Facebook and say, will you get in contact with my relative who was here? And we do, and it's amazing. Then we'll find activity records or something like that. And we're like, oh, this must be this person. And then we start connecting. It's really quite amazing.
And I'm glad you said that, because that is the coolest part of this, because one, they do take you, if you've never ghost hunted, when you go into the manor.
I played Phasmophobia once.
They give you a tour. And what is nice is everything they're telling you about is fact. And they have the paperwork to back up what they're telling you. And when they cut you loose and you start using the information they gave you to communicate, it's pretty much dead on. I mean, and then more and more you discover more things.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we just had a young woman who said her grandparents met at Hillview when they worked there. So they went down to an area where they worked and they were connecting. And this gal was freaking out like, oh my gosh, I might be talking to my grandparents here. And so we're like, what's their names? You know, what can we get on them? Now, I will tell you, we've gotten it wrong before. And one of our biggest ones was Jimmy and Jules. Well, Jimmy's on the 3rd floor. Jimmy snaps. Well, Jules was a character who he hung out with, and they were roommates. Problem is, the picture that we have blown up of them is not Jules, it's Lester. So we had Lester's granddaughter out in California watch our live stream one night and said, that's my granduncle or grandfather or whatever, and you've got this wrong. We immediately corrected it, thanked her. And there was Jules, another fella who was with Jimmy, but we had the wrong picture. So we really do try to do our best to get it right and correct it. Now, with the wonderful internet, that everything that you read on the internet is true, when people post all kinds of stuff out there and they make up all their crazy stories about Hillview, or they put all this information out there, it can be a mixed bag. But I can tell you, if you come to Hillview, we really are trying to get the story straight.
So if you really want to go to a good haunted house, what you got doing this weekend?
That's right. That's right.
What time does the haunted house open?
So the haunted house part starts at 7 p.m. And it goes to 11. The best way to experience it all is buy a VIP because you save a lot of money. You get a 1-hour tour of Hillview, then you go through the scare house. Nice. It is, and it's cheaper than doing a 1-hour tour any other time. And then you go through the scare house, which is Scare Manor, and then we give you a t-shirt on top of it. So it's the best little giddy up, I'm telling people. Now you can just come for the scare house, which is Scare Manor, or you could come to Hillview and buy just a tour during Scare Manor time. We'll honor that too, but there's all kinds of other things going on inside the building while we're doing the scares outside the building. And I might add, Friday the 13th is coming up.
Yes, it is.
This Friday. And we are planned.
That's
Fortunately, I have a football game to be at.
Well, what are you doing Saturday?
Saturday?
What are you doing Saturday?
Where are you guys based at?
Oh, we're Newcastle, just south of Newcastle in Shenango Township. So if you know where Shenango High School is, on 65, just south of Newcastle, I guess we're less than an hour from here.
I think it took us roughly 45-ish minutes or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad. There's some nice little restaurants to eat at before, and come on up to Hillview. But Friday the 13th is going to be interesting at Hillview. We're ready.
It was funny because when we were there, the haunted house was going on, and I was down in this the new area.
Okay, one north.
One north. And
the one, no, we say new area.
It's not
you
new.
You boys,
Yes.
You gentlemen were not even thought of when this new area was built in 1968, I believe. No, I was around. I'm going to admit to that because I'm a little older than all of you. But anyways.
I was here for 1 year prior to that. Just say it.
I got a couple on you.
So I have a story. I guess it's I work at a vet clinic, right? They do euthanasias there, and there's a freezer in our large animal. But the one night, every now and then, some of my coworkers heard whistling, like human lips whistling, but there was nobody there. It's after hours, and so it sounds like it's coming from our break room, our X-ray room, and then the hospital. So would it be a person? Would it be an animal? And then would you think that this, because they get put down at this hospital, you think the stretch would be tied to the hospital, to the wherever they get cremated, or to the urn?
People see ghost animals all the time. I mean,
we have them at Hillview.
Yeah,
Ghost cat.
Ghost cat.
We got ghost cat. I'm going to teach you something that a friend of mine taught me, and you can work on it and you can try it. It's kinesiology, and it's asking the body questions. And what you can do is stand up and take a bottle of water like this and put it at your heart and say, is this water? And if you fall forward or sway forward, it's a yes. And if you sway back, it's a no. If you want to ask the question in that room where you're hearing the whistling, I would stand still and quietly ask the question, are you a person or were you a person? And if you fall forward, just dipping forward, it's a yes. And if you dip back, it's a no. I do it all through Hillview all the time.
So you just taught me something. I've
Oh,
never heard
you should
that.
do it. You should do it. You can do it with fingertips when you're like making a little link. Are we streaming or are we just audio? So people see this?
Yeah,
Okay.
they'll see it because yes, we're on YouTube.
I'm technology driven and then I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, we were on all platforms, but
Okay.
apparently we're just on YouTube now.
Okay, so you can do it this way with yes or no, or you could do fall forward, fall back. And if you wobble, ask a different question, clarify. You should do this when you ghost hunt. And it's amazing how you can do it. And you can take a friend and put yourselves back to back and ask a silent question. And if you both get the same answer over and over again for different questions, it's quite powerful. I do it all the time at Hillview, especially if I'm asking where Eli is, because he likes to follow women and he tends to like me. And I like him, but I'm like, Eli, go entertain everybody else. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Because I'm creeped out by it all.
Yeah. And you know, the thing is, and people don't get this, I mean, you got to be careful
Right.
because is it a person? Hopefully it is, because you don't want to mess with nothing else.
Right.
And the other thing is, they're not bound to what our physical realm is. And you don't want to take nothing home.
Right.
And that's important. A lot of people, I go to church every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I pray. I pray before I come in my building. I say, please don't bother me. It's not my thing to ghost hunt, if you can believe it. I pay the bills and I do some of the other
That's the
stuff.
scariest part.
The
Bills.
scariest, it is the scariest part of Hillview.
Live
Yes,
at
it is. But I am telling you, you should actively say, I don't want anything attaching to me.
Yeah.
Now, Hillview is not this slasher movie thing
No,
going on that people
no.
try to make all these places out to. This is not what we were about. There were unfortunate things that happened at Hillview. I will not lie that the stories tell us there were some things that happened. But for the most part, this was a gentle place. And
It was a home.
it
Was their homes.
It was. And they are due respect. And
Mhm.
that's what we try to do. And that's what I love about the employees at Hillview. They really act courteous about this. And when we see people come in that are trying to make it a slasher movie, okay, like Friday the 13th is a lot of fun,
Yeah.
but Friday the 13th can be a little bit interesting because some people are going to try to make it something different.
Right.
Okay,
And
that's not it.
There's
at
another
Hillview.
thing you got to watch too, because you get these people in, and you got good and bad people, and you get the ones in who have bad intentions, and you don't want them opening bad things. I mean, because it's like, you know what? I mean, you feel uneasy here and there, and it's not bad.
Right.
It's not.
No, and it's their home. And here's a good example. I'm
Right.
glad you said this because we were up. First off, I think Mary responds better to women because she was responding
Maybe.
to my wife, not me. And it was like she was cracking some jokes towards me, which was kind of funny.
Mhm.
And I mean, on command, she's turning on and off. I mean, flashlights don't turn it on and off by themselves,
Right.
especially when you ask it to. And this was what was going on, which we had shown on our show. But it was funny at one point, and this is what, if you go in there kind of disrespectful too, they'll shut down. They'll be like,
Mhm.
you can sit here all night long. We're not talking to you. And it was weird.
And they'll say, get out.
Yes, they will. And you better you better
Do it.
Do it. Because, I mean, there again.
Be
you-
respectful.
Yeah. But it was weird because, like I said, there was a vibe. And we was in Mary's room, and it was almost 3:00. And it was like, a switch had flipped. And it was funny, my wife is not into this, but she was very into it, which is funny because she does not like, all this. Like
I could
you.
hang with her.
Yes. But her, my youngest son, and I were all there in that room, and it was all at the same time. It's like the energy switched. It was just like a normal. It was back to normal, like nothing. And we were just talking, and the flashlight was still sitting over there. We were just now talking. It was getting time to pack up, go home. And I said, this was her house. And you got people coming in. She don't know me. She doesn't know my family. And we're just waltzing into her house. And, we were just talking. And I was like, I don't know. Because if it was me, I'd kind of get pissed off once in a while. It's like, what are you in my room? Because this was her room. I mean,
Right.
and it was funny when I said that, the light went on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, there it is. She's still here. I mean, she doesn't want to talk, but,
Well, and nurses that had visited us, I think it was 2 years ago, who knew Mary Ayala, said she was cranky sometimes. And she would really get on to you if she didn't have her way and get what she wanted and have the right lunch or whatever. And she'd tell you, get moving on, and play little jokes like taking her eyeballs out and
yes,
vetting
she takes her eyeballs out. I did.
Yeah.
So at that point, I had asked, and she still didn't respond to me. I was like, well, if you want us to leave, please let us know. And then finally, my wife asked, she goes, Mary, honey, if you want to leave, turn on the flashlight. There it was. It's like,
Time to go.
time to go. So we said, thank you. And can you please turn the flashlight back off? Well, Tina did. And there it went. And we said good night. And that was the end. And, it's like.
And you got what you came for, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was truly an experience. And not a bad experience.
Right.
I mean,
I'll walk in on a big night, like October is our season, so to speak. So I'll walk in and the whole place is, got people all over the place. And they start the tour in our lobby. And there might be 30 people in our lobby. And I'm like, I'll walk in and I'll know right away if the energy is like hopping. And I say, well, it's going to be a good night tonight. And most people don't know who I am. And I don't usually say it. And I say, well, better you than me. And I walk back out and people were like, who's she? And they're like, she's the one who pays the bills. And pays the bills of the boss. And they start laughing because they'll ask me. But I'll tell you, you can walk in and know if it's lit up and ready to roll. And it is usually ready to roll when there are younger people around in a big splashy event or some big group. And people, I'm like, you're going to get some good stuff tonight. And sure enough, somebody's emailing us the next morning, check this out and tell us what you think. And then I'm forwarding the emails to my staff. Could you tell me what I'm looking at here or what we're listening to? And it's fun.
I'll have to go back and try to find my stuff. I didn't know you had that.
Oh, yeah, people email us all the time.
I'll have to go try to find all of our stuff and see if I can send it to
Oh,
you.
yeah, because if it's really good, we'll contact, if we feel like it's something people want to really see, we'll make an evidence view out of it and put you on our YouTube channel, put it on the Facebook, Instagram, all that jazz, and see what everybody thinks because people love it. Love it.
I would recommend, like, if you guys are looking for a haunted house to go to still during the season,
Right.
I would be careful because it's a distance and there's deers and crazy people.
Right.
But, load up in a car with some friends and carefully go over and have a good time.
It's good, clean fun. And we love when young people come out and they're going for good, clean fun. Well, sometimes you got some mischief going on here and there and you got to weed that out. But you know what? the young folks that have come through the last 2 weekends, they're smiling. They're having a good time. They're coming and doing a testimonial. They're like, how do we get inside the building? I'm like, well, you should have done a VIP, and got the best of both worlds.
That's definitely
So,
worth it. I can
it
tell
is.
you that.
It
So
is.
how much is the VIP?
So the VIP starts, I believe, at $50 or $55.
That's not bad.
No,
And that
'cause-
gets you a T-shirt, a tour inside the building, and Scare Manor. It's the best deal going this
See,
month.
So, yeah, it's definitely worth it.
I just went to a place over in Canton, and I could tell you for 4 people, and I always do VIPs because one, I don't like standing in the lines. And her price versus the price that I paid, I'd have jumped on it triple times. It's like,
Well,
so
in a
that's
week,
a very
we're
nice price.
It is a nice price, and in about a week we're sold out for our VIP because somebody bought 50 some tickets up
Yep.
because they're bringing everybody in the kitchen sink with them,
Yep.
and that's nice because people are telling us, hey, we like this, and it got bigger this year than last year, and we're working the whole Doctor Gone Mad thing.
That's cool.
So, because we were a hospital of sorts, nursing home, and we did have, most bodies were processed through Hillview. Did you know that? For the
No.
Lawrence County
No,
Cemetery?
that I did not know that.
So there is actually a cemetery out back, not quite on the property. There's some questions about whether
Where the-
there
Yeah.
are,
Or aren't.
which we won't go into any further.
But back in those days,
It was fuzzy.
yes, it was.
There you
There
go.
you go. Now we got it going.
Now they got it. Now they got it.
Yeah.
And that burial area is very interesting, right near Scare Manor. And people start to wonder about that because we know there were mass graves back there.
You should do
And
like a little tour through that area.
well, that's Lawrence County Cemetery. That's not
Oh,
Hillview's
like
property.
well, you come to the
Oh, we
prop-
take. We'll
Yeah.
tell you where it is, and it's up to you. But we won't do a tour of it because technically, that's not what we should be
doing.
doing.
Yeah, you got to.
And I'm kind of of the you don't mess with people's graves.
No, you don't. That's
don't.
no, you
Right.
don't mess with
Yeah.
it.
And by the way, there are people that think they can do whatever they want to do. I'm that Susie Sunshine Pollyanna. They don't know who Pollyanna is, but I'm the squeaky clean. Let's keep it straight kind of person
Messing with
here.
the supernatural.
Yeah, when I worked the road and patrolling and stuff, and there was nothing that would burn me more than, we'd have to check on a couple cemeteries, especially when you have a loved one in there and you just bought like something for a holiday, and you find out that you're not only yours and everybody else has been hit, and everything that people put in there for their loved ones, somebody went in and stole.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? You stole little Christmas trees off of people's plots.
Yeah.
I saw.
And I never understood it. Or you go in there and you're breaking headstones, especially headstones that are over hundreds of years old. I never could understand why you would want to go destroy something like that.
I saw a guy on the internet the one day. He was talking about how much he didn't like people putting quarters and whatnot on military gravestones. So he took it off, and he received so much backlash from that. And then he went back and put it back and apologized.
Because that actually has meanings, and it has meanings for vets.
Yeah.
And it's very personal
Mhm.
when you put that because I can't remember. I'd have to ask Deputy DeLuga. What I do know, it has something to do with battle and stuff.
I believe the quarter was you were there when that person was killed.
Yeah, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very personal.
Wow.
And so, for someone to come take that off, well, that's like, Mary, she liked bingo.
Yes.
And she has all this, people put quarter. In fact, I think we put a couple on her register. There's all kinds of cool stuff. But,
By the way, when people leave money for Jimmy, Mary Ayala, you know what we use that for?
Mm-mm.
It's our Fix the Roof Fund. We put in our Fix the Roof Fund. Just so
That's
people
nice.
know.
First off, for you guys, this place is huge. It's huge.
It's big.
It's big. It's big. And that takes a lot to maintain it. And I must say,
We're
from what I've
trying.
heard, I've heard very, very nice things about what you have done. Let me say
Thanks.
that. So, which is cool. I mean, it is. And it's hard to maintain a building
Very
like
hard.
that and to keep it where.
People
Like-
are dedicated about it, and they
Yeah.
really care about it. The community looks at us as an oddity, and some are very proud of it because of all the notoriety people that come, all these
Oh,
TV
I would
shows,
be.
and a lot of them.
I would
and-
be.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and but it has a rich history that should be respected, and there's so many people in the community that had loved ones there, that good, bad, or other, it still should be respected, and that's how I feel I am, as the caretaker of some of these memories with respect, and I think the staff does a wonderful job at doing that too.
And truthfully, these people, a lot of these people that, I mean, it closed down what?
2004,
Yeah. So
20 years ago, coming up.
it's not long. So you got people still out there.
Yeah.
So it's actually time for us. You guys have any questions before we move on real fast?
No.
No, yeah.
Nothing about the haunted house. Nothing about ticket tours. Come on, guys.
I'm very busy. Otherwise, I would. I have homecoming this weekend.
No curiosities about anything.
I don't. The paranormal will scare me. I don't want to mess with them.
I'm with you, honey.
I don't want to know what happens when you mess with the wrong one, because I used an Ouija board once.
Oh, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't
do
do that.
that.
Don't ever
Yeah.
do that.
Don't
Never
do
did that
that.
again.
Don't
So-
do that.
That's
Yeah.
bad.
We don't do that.
Dude, you know what? It's a shame that they even sell these things as toys. They're not
Exactly.
toys. They're not toys at all. And
It was
We don't
years ago.
allow-
I'm not going to tell you a story on here, but I will share a story with you personally when we're off this air about a Ouija board.
Yeah, going after looking at this was years ago. This was I was 9 or something before I knew any better about it. But no, a Ouija board scare me. I
They
don't
should
like
scare
them.
you. They scare me.
yeah,
Anybody with common sense should be afraid.
Demons are scary. Don't want to mess with them.
No.
Osmodius, I'm sorry.
Listen, there are things you do and do not do in this universe, and that would be one of them.
It's in a closet
Truthfully.
somewhere. It's in a closet somewhere.
So I don't know if Carrie told you, but we have a special segment which is called That's Embarrassing, where all my guests get to tell an embarrassing or funny story. So without further ado, it is that time to move on.
That's embarrassing.
Who would like to go first?
I can go first so I don't forget. So, okay. I used to play football for Champion when I was little, elementary school. It's not really embarrassing now, but it was then. So they would film us running through this tunnel, and the one time it was just a complete face plant, wipe
Everybody
out.
just wiping out.
Yeah, and it's on video too. So who is that? Oh, and then everyone looks over at you. So well, that's unfortunate, but it's not that bad now. I think it's kind of funny.
I shared one that was way worse than that. So, but you guys have to go back and listen because I'm not going to talk about it.
Fair enough.
You want to know my embarrassing moment? You got to go backwards.
I've had this one. It was actually recently. We went to Fear Forest, and the one dude, he jumped out at me, and I just screamed. I started running, and then I looked behind it, and the people I was with, they were like, "What happened?" Because they didn't. I went in front of them, but the dude jump scared me and then hid and didn't tell my buddies. And so they were like, "Why are you running?" And so I just kept running and running and running until I was at the end of this putt. And the dude came back out. He was like, "It was because of me." And I felt so embarrassed because I just ran. I ran past everybody. I feel so bad for the workers because I'm pretty sure I just pushed over 2 or 3 dudes on my way there.
Fear Force was in.
Well, all right. I have a haunted house little story I'll share with you guys. High school, a senior, and in fact, that was my big idea. We all packed up and ran over to Akron's, the haunted schoolhouse laboratory. If you guys have heard of that, and my girlfriend at the time. So we're going through the haunted schoolhouse, and they had one where like person was above you. So we're moving, it's all dark, and all of a sudden I feel this hand on my, I had hair by the way back then. He startled me, and I came flying forward forgetting that she was in front of me and I couldn't see her. It happened to be, it kind of curved. Like, and I just plastered her against the wall. And I was like, I had to carry her through the rest of it. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I squished her. Well.
So I didn't know you had this kind of a segment, so I just started thinking. This is going to go back a little ways. I was a school teacher right out of college, and I taught fine art to middle schoolers. And it was my first year teaching, not more than 2 or 3 months in my job, and I got very excited teaching a lesson about some artist, probably Leonardo da Vinci or somebody like that, because he rocks. Anyways, and Michelangelo and Donatello. Back then, there were a lot of Ninja Turtles running around.
Yep.
Yeah. I can date myself. You've seen the second round of Ninja Turtles. We saw the first round.
Yeah.
Okay, so just, look
I still
back.
like the first better.
I think I do too. And so I'm talking about something exciting. I got so excited, I kind of kicked out my foot. And back then, you wore high heels and dresses and everything. My heel went right off my foot, sailing right through the air. One of the kids caught it. I said, Miss Trico. And they all, like, their jaws dropped, and they didn't know what to do because they were scared, like I would be upset. And I just lost it and couldn't stop laughing. And then the whole class erupted.
I would have been impressed.
That is funny. Hey, but you didn't fall.
No.
You just did a ninja kick with your shoe.
Ninja kick with my shoe, and the shoe was up in the air. I didn't hurt anybody, thank goodness.
What happened? Oh, I got my eye put out
by the art teacher, kicking her shoes off. So that's my embarrassing moment.
That's good. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Mm.
Well, let's move on to shout out time.
It's shout out time.
So, guys, ladies, you're not limited to just one shout out. You can shout out to the whole world if you want to. So, who would like to start saying hey to somebody?
Hi, people. That's all.
That's all you got? Not hi, mom, hi, anybody?
Um,
Hi, girlfriend, boyfriend, that's whatever.
Hi, Jimmy. Hi, Whitney. Hi, Finn.
Still,
Okay.
shout to Finn for becoming Mr. President. Did something that I didn't want to. I'm the vice president. It's way cooler. So,
Congratulations.
vice president's way cooler than being president.
I'm going to shout out to all the actors at Scare Manor and say that you guys are rocking it. Everybody's coming back and telling us
That's
it's
cool.
fun. So shout out to the actors at Scare Manor.
I'll give a shout out to all you guys. I would give a shout out to you. You're like my hero, by the way. I love your place.
Okay.
No, you know what?
Then you know
I
what,
can't-
Deputy Mike, if you come, I'll go stunt with you.
All right.
Okay.
You know what? We actually did, and I found out they're booked. They're booked for the whole rest of the year. See, I like
Well, not for public investigations, but for private ones. You
Yes,
can't
I
come
like
in.
the private.
Yes.
And we had a group of 17, I think, last time.
Wow.
And we actually wanted to shrink it. And it's going to cost a little bit more, but let me tell you, it's worth it.
17 isn't that many in the building. You can really spread out and have a good
Yeah,
time.
but they get kind of loud in spots.
Well, you
and-
have
yeah,
to teach them how to behave.
So we were bringing it down to 11. A closer group.
One over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and I don't know. We had one lady that showed up in high heels. You don't go set in high heels.
Nope.
But we didn't know her. She just was with some friends. But anyways, yeah, don't
You
ever
suggest
show-
she go out and get a bite to eat, right?
Yeah.
And come back.
Yeah.
Right.
But yes, no. I definitely we're coming back to, for a private. Private's the best because you can have your equipment and you can put your equipment up and
But see, a lot of people don't experience Hillview that way because they're first timers. So, and it is expensive.
Yeah.
Well, not like the big places. There's some bigger places.
there's
They're
bigger
way,
places.
way expensive. Hillview is affordable for a private, but
Right.
the best way for people that are newcomers is to come for a little public
Public,
investigation.
yes.
So
Yeah.
Air Force was $30 for 4 things,
Yeah.
and it wasn't like actually haunted. It was fun. I
Oh, you
enjoyed
could go
it.
to her
You
haunted
had
house and it's really haunted.
an extra $20 for the actual haunt.
In fact, before we go though,
Right.
talking about that, I'm glad you guys tell us, because we were off air when we spoke about this. Let's talk about the figure outside. In the was it the
Yeah.
parking lot?
Oh my goodness, yes. So this is probably at least 3 years ago. We do a live stream on Wednesday nights. You just go to our Facebook page and
That's
we
on
ask
YouTube, correct?
It's through our Facebook
Or
page.
Facebook? Okay,
Facebook, Haunted Hillview Manor.
Okay.
Yep. So if you go on there, several of our staff conducted a live stream. They go all over the building, and one of our staff members and 2 of his friends were ghost hunting, and people were saying, "Oh, we see something through the window." They were in Mary Ayala's room,
Okay.
looking out the window, and they saw something across the way. Said, "Somebody's in that other room." He goes, "No, we're the only ones here." So they panned out the window, looking at the parking lot, and when they panned back, they thought nothing of it. They were just telling the community, "We're the only ones here. There's only one car in the parking lot. It's us." And someone caught, I don't know how, but a lot of people watch it after the fact.
Right.
They said, at this time stamp, there is a white ghostly figure walking in your parking lot. So I went back through the footage, and sure enough, there is a walking apparition. There it goes.
There we go.
And we replayed it. I made a 2-minute, we call it evidence view, Hillview evidence view. And it's compelling. I've seen a lot of things people send us, and honestly, there are some things people send us pictures, and I'm like, really? That's a stretch.
Yeah.
Or they'll send us some audio, and it's and they're telling me what they're saying, and I'm like, really? But this was, oh my goodness, there
It's
is
there.
something walking. It's clear, it's white, and it's not got a sheet over its head. Let me tell you, it's
Right.
not. And so we did that, and it lit everything up for a few days on our Facebook
That's
page,
cool.
because I captured that part and put the video together. So that's on our YouTube page, along with other things that have happened to people. And you've told me a few of your stories of things that happen, and I'm like, better you than me. and I laugh about it, but I'm like, folks, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Better you than me. And it's really compelling. But I'll be the first one like, yeah, I don't quite see that, or and then like, our last day of Scare Manor last year was a Saturday night, and the building is lit up with people all through it. And some lady comes walking in the office about 12:30 and said, "Hey, I got this on my camera." And it's the shadow figure at the end of 1 North. And I'm like, wow. Do you have another photo we can... Is there another photo of the exact same spot you can compare to it? And she goes, yeah, we got it right before and right after. And I'm like, holy cow. So I sent that out to the rest of our gang, and I've been trying to get this woman to do an interview with me for our evidence view, because it's the best apparition I've seen in a long time. It was good. And I was like, we were all through the building. Were you in the building? Anybody walking through the building? Anything down there? Was anybody there? All of this stuff. And it was a full figure, walk in, walk out of the... I was like, whoa.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not going down 1 North. You can, not me.
Well, that's cool. So now we got a... Oh, did I do a shout out? Shout out to everybody here. Thank you. It's time to move on to things to know before we go.
Things to know before you go.
So, since we're here talking about haunted houses, things to know, if you want to give us the dates and the times.
Okay. Every Friday and Saturday night, 7 to 11, Haunted Hillview Manor, South Newcastle. You can come to our Scare Manor. You can take a tour of the building, go online, hauntedhillviewmanor.com, and get your tickets and come on out and see us.
How long does it run for?
Just till the 28th. So
All right, so
just
you
the
guys
end
are
of this
done
month.
exactly at.
Now, Hillview Manor's a different story. There's still some public investigations going on. Friday the 13th. It's almost booked. There's some other ones. There's some really good ones too by the end of the month.
Filled to the brim.
It kind of is. Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of is.
Yeah, and I
And
said
then-
earlier,
but there's other
you've got to
ones.
jump fast.
You do kind of have to jump fast in October. And if you want, like, Deputy Mike wants a private investigation, you book it in January.
Yes, you snooze, you lose, and I lost this year. Well, last year
We had a couple open up miraculously.
Oh, really?
We did. Two people backed out this year, and we were able to, pick up the ball and run in with it. To do a football analogy, we're in that season.
I'll have to pay attention, and maybe we can squeeze in if somebody else.
Yeah.
But now it's starting to get cold. I don't like the cold. It's not
conducive to the weather.
Yes, it's
when
not.
Hillview gets cold,
It's cold. When it gets hot,
it's really hot.
So you got to find that medium.
Yep, October's still
October's
pretty
the
good.
place.
It's still good.
All right. So, is there anything going on that you guys would like to let us know about that you know of?
Sure. Champion is having a blacklight show on October 20th, as well as their senior night. So the band performs on the field. We turn off all the lights and put black lights in front of the field and march in the dark.
What time?
It's just like a normal football game. It's like halftime. So
Okay.
I believe if the football game starts at 7, senior night is before all of the football stuff, and then halftime is blacklight show.
Nothing here.
Nothing. Well, I got game night with the deputies, but it's this Thursday, and this won't air until after my game night. But remember, game night with the deputies is every month, second Thursday of each month, from 5:30 to 9 o'clock. So I supply, and Deputy DeLuga supply pizza and pop and water and popcorn. So whoever wants to come hang out with us and play board games and cards and whatever else, well, appropriate.
Should I put that on the ghost message board for y'all?
Oh,
You
that'd
need
be
any
cool.
help?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put that out there.
But so that's it. So until next time, everybody, thank you for joining, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.